let's begin from Edo State, where the governor, Obaseki, has approved a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The governor revealed this while commissioning the new labor house in Edo State. And according to him, the new wage comes into effect on the 1st of May this year. Take a listen to him.
We, as a government, feel your pain. We know your take-home pay can barely take you home. We will continue to try. And I am one of those governors who believe that we cannot run away from the fact that we must adjust the minimum wage of workers in Nigeria. And so, for us in Edo State, we have decided that we will move minimum wage effective May 1 to 70,000 naira.
All right, that was earlier today, but let's flip the page. In 2022, May of 2022, the governor also made an announcement which came as a shock to a lot of people because it was higher than the national minimum wage. Take a listen to him in 2022, what he said, and the figure that he announced at that time.
The government of Edo State has now decided to review the minimum wage for Edo State workers to 40,000 naira a month. Undoubtedly, Edo State is the first state since COVID-19 to take this initiative.
Let's get some clarity now on how this is going to play out. Because if my mathematics get me right, apologies, I'm not the best when it comes to figures, but if it serves me right, 70,000 naira from 30,000, we're talking about almost a 90 or 80% increase in the figures, going from 40,000 to 70,000. Let's get clarity on how Governor Obaseki hopes to achieve that in a state that says about 62 billion. That's what the IGR was at in 2023. We understand that the IGR has hit about 70 billion in 2024. Governor Godwin Obaseki joins us live from Benin City virtually. Thank you so much, Governor Obaseki, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much. I can hear you. I appreciate it. I guess congratulations to workers in Edo State. But for those who are in governance, we say this perhaps will be like a banana peel. Since that you are leaving office, the coming government might find this as a difficult task to keep up with. But what inspired the increase from 40,000 is just about 2 years ago when you increased it. Why this new increase?
Well, thank you very much. And you must always understand that government and governance is about our people. And you cannot say you're doing well as a government if your people are in penury and are unhappy. Let us understand this minimum wage calculation. In 2011, when minimum wage was 18,000, the exchange rate was 160 naira to the dollar. And so effectively, workers in Edo State were taking home about $220 as minimum wage. When we increased minimum wage to 40,000 in 2022, the exchange rate at that time was 415. So effectively, workers were getting about $96, which was, a discount on what they were earning in 2011. Even after that, today, 2024, with a 70,000 naira minimum wage, at the current exchange rate of 1,275 or thereabouts, what they are taking home is actually $55, which is less than 50% of what they were earning a year ago. So for us in Edo State, we believe that the issue is about productivity. paying people well so that they can produce more, not pretending that you're paying them salaries when you know that that salary cannot motivate them to produce the goods and services you require. I think the key issue is how do we pay for it? We are not a super state. We look at our numbers very, very carefully and closely. Unfortunately for us, because we understood that this is what was going to happen, we have seen it, we have predicted it, and we're taking measures as a state to mitigate this situation we find ourselves today. So what did we do? We took fundamental reforms in our public services and the way government works. We got in an IPP, we have a Sion, so I don't buy diesel at the rates people are buying diesel to run power in the state and in government facilities. We moved our government operations to a digital platform. So we are paperless. So we don't spend the kind of money on stationery and all those costs that we traditionally used to run government. I expect that I'll be able to get better gas price from NMTC. Today we're paying $6.50 per cup. I hope we'll be able to get a better price to lower our cost of energy. By the time we undertake all these savings, which will have certain and we still will have the money to pay.
Interesting. I was looking at your overhead budgeted for in 2023 budget, which falls about 40 billion. Your pensions and gratuity figures in that budget is about 15 billion, and capital budget was about 185 billion. So invariably, this will, and I know that in 2024, it may have gone higher. So what figure are you proposing that this increase will be? Because I'm not sure that you projected this increase in the 2024 budget, did you?
Yes, you're right. So I'm going to my House of Assembly next week with a revised budget to accommodate these changes or these announcements we just made. But just to put it clearly, my overhead budget this year is about 89 billion, whereas my personnel cost in this year's budget is about 65 billion. So what we're doing is trying to move more money from overhead, from running of the running cost of government, to pay better salaries, better wages to the people who we have employed in government. That's the trick.
So in that sense, the question is the sustainability of what you have just started. How sustainable is this? Are you just laying a banana peel for the incoming governor or the next government?
So the money is there. It's there already in the budget. It's how we reallocate those funds. Today, I can make savings by being digital. The savings I make, I use it to pay more salaries. I make savings by having a centralized transport system in government. Those savings, I transfer as increased wages. I'm saving money because I have an IPT. I don't buy diesel to run generators in my secretariat and government facilities. Those savings, I use it to pay salaries. So for us, we're making government more efficient. And the savings that we're making, that accruing as a result, we're transferring those savings to give better wages to our citizens, to our workers.
So, how much of Edo money have you been able to plow into Edo State to work for the people of Edo State? We hear you have talked about the palm oil investment. We've heard you talk about the refinery investment, the agriculture investment, rice and all. What have you? How much of that have you been able to plow? And perhaps how much of the money could Edo people be expecting monthly to come and as investment, benefit, a profit for the people of Edo State?
Okay, so I think the simple answer is you can see government is earning more revenues and more IJR. And they're already earning more IJR from taxes, from rates, from rates and taxes and other dues in government as a result of an improved economic environment, as a result of more investment opportunities in the state. Like you said, in the case of palm oil, for instance, we've allocated over 70,000 hectares of land for all palm out their nurseries, employing people, and that's almost $500 million worth of investment in the last 2 years or so. Dito in the area of hospitality, you can really find a seat on a flight to visit Italy, or find space or room in a hotel. It's full because we have improved the business environment, we've made it more relaxed, we've removed the lions and tigers from the streets, we've improved security and safety, and we have electricity. We've invested in electricity. We have Azura, we have Ojomo, and we have a whole power. Those alone has over 1,000 megawatts of power available, and we can generate more. So with an improved economic environment, there's still more investment, and government is able to get more access to power back from growth.
The reason why I'm asking this is that if there are no concrete investment and money that the government is generating by its investment, profit from its investment, if there is a slight impact on the economy, as we've seen maybe a global economy recess or a national economy recess, it will impact on the local economy. And those who have your opposition that have tagged you as an MOU governor, that they have always seen is you signing MOUs and no practical investment on the ground. They talk about how much of infrastructure has dilapidated, how much of education facilities have dilapidated, and they're asking, what have you used the Edo money to do for the Edo people? And that's the reason why I'm asking, how much of investment have you been able to plow to make money and benefit for the Edo people?
So the economy of Brazil is one of the fastest growing economies. Those people who you claim are complaining are the political buccaneers, as we have them here, who cannot have access to the state treasury like they used to. So they imagine that what they used to do when they were in government is what is still going on. They imagine that what's going on now is what used to happen when they were there. But that is not the case. We are running a very transparent government, and we are digitized. You can't hide any information. It's there for the public to see. Unfortunately, many of them are financially illiterate. They don't even understand what we're doing. They're looking for cash and not wealth. But we are trying to build wealth in the world, and it is working.
What brought you to that calculations of 70,000 naira? How did you arrive at that figure?
So last year we increased wages to 40,000 naira. At that time, with an exchange rate of 415 naira to the dollar, the minimum wage was $96. Today, even with 70,000 naira, even with increasing minimum wage to 70,000 naira, at today's exchange rate, it's only $55. So our people are even poorer. They're earning less in real terms because of the amount of inflation and devaluation in the economy. This is what people are living with daily. That has led to food inflation. People cannot feed, and we expect them to work. Let us be real. Let the government stop being dishonest and deal with issues the way they really are.
There are those saying that maybe 150,000, 200,000 or 250,000, some have even said 350,000 would be the adequate minimum wage, federal minimum wage. Should there be an increase upwardly in the minimum wage to be announced by the federal government, with consultation, of course, with the National Economic Council, which you belong, would you adjust to that, or you will still leave it at 70,000?
I will look at my reality, and I'm sure if that is the rate that is agreed, there won't be reasons why, and there will be more cash coming to us as government. And if that happens, we'll adjust accordingly.
Let me ask you, Governor Obaseki, what would you say? You're about spending almost 8 years here in your 7-year plus in office. But if you look back and think carefully, what would you say is perhaps the most impactful in terms of economic impact on the people of Edo State? What would you say is the most impactful policy and decision that you have made as a governor to the lives and the livelihood of the Edo people?
I think the most impactful policy will be the investments we have made in our people. Starting from what we've done in education, from the capacity building we've done with a good job, where over 150,000 young people have been given opportunities in different skill acquisition, in different skills, and in different jobs. Just impacting on our people for today and tomorrow, I believe, has been a great achievement. In 2016, Edo was the capital of human trafficking and irregular migration. We had over 30,000 young men and women in Libya trying to cross over to Europe. Today, the kids in Edo don't want to leave because we created opportunities and hope for them. That is what we've achieved.
Yeah, the figures show as of last year that 1.4 million people living in Edo State are living in multi-dimension poverty, which represents some very staggering percentage in the overall figure. How much of that are you able to wind back in improving the livelihood of the people of the state, not only the workers? Because what you have announced today is going to directly impact on the lives and the livelihood of the workers, those who work for government, not talking about the artisans and those who work for private organizations.
So the irony is that today, the daily paid worker in Edo charges about 5,000 a day. So if the daily paid worker works for 10 days a month in Edo, in Benin, he earns about 50,000. So why should the civil servant earn much less than that? So there's been inflation. So in terms of wages, in terms of earnings, we still, people in the informal sector have increased their prices. So that has to reflect on government. And yes, government is the largest spender, the government is in the economy, and we're paying 70,000 to over 50,000 people, 40,000 people. So imagine the impact, imagine the spread, imagine how many families and businesses were affected as a result of this increased spending by this large number of individuals. So it's about what we are paying for. It's not about how much we are paying. When we pay 70,000 naira, is it dash? Is it a grant? Or are people working? So the focus should be on how to organize government, how to organize your businesses, to make sure that those people, now that you're paying higher salaries, you must get better productivity and better services.
You were very critical of the past government on the manner in which they managed the economy, and you thought that at some point you were vocal to say the government at the federal level was printing money. There were deniers at some point. But the question would be, where were you perhaps the only voice out of the 36 governors then that were very vocal about the manner in which they managed the economy?
Maybe because of my background, I could see the danger ahead. And, one thing about economics and the sciences, it's about evidence. The facts were there to show that, we were spending money we didn't earn or we didn't have. And it will be inflationary, and it will have consequences for the rest of the entire economy. It will apply to everybody. I don't know why other people, will fail to talk about it. They only saw it and they knew it. But it's about your training, your background, and the sort of person you are. I can't see falsehood and pretend that it's true. So that's not how I was raised, and I don't think politics should change that.
So most of the dangers that you foresaw at the time are here with us, including the impact on the Naira. What do you think could have been done differently?
Well, unfortunately, this has been a long problem that almost 3 or 4 decades in the midst. At the core of it is the structure of our country. We are just one of the few countries in the world where we have one main source of income, of revenue, oil. And the elites are centralized. And every month, the central government now begins to distribute to all the tiers of government. It doesn't happen everywhere. What happens typically is, people earn their revenues from the resources available to them, and the central government will impose a tax. So you don't have to wait on the central government to now begin to give you handouts at the end of every month like we've done in Nigeria. Key to our problem is decentralization. Let every state, let every part of this country go and work and sweat the assets it has, earn its revenue, and pay whatever it has been agreed as taxes to the center. Not the way we are going about it. When the center earns everything and now begins to allocate, to the component part.
Governor Obaseki.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, would you say the government of the day under President Tinubu is on the right track? And some of those things that you pointed out about the Buhari government and the manner in which they manage the economy then, they are doing differently this time around?
They made efforts, they made some real good and bold efforts. However, they are handicapped. The structure is a major handicap. For us to have growth, for us to manage the economy in an optimal manner, you need both the right monetary policies and the right fiscal policies. Today, the monetary authorities are doing all they can, all the tricks they know in the books to see how they can curb inflation. But you need a fiscal response. But because of the political structure of our country, that fiscal response is difficult to attain at this point in time. That's why we must look back at the structure of the country.
Yeah, perhaps a way to wrap this up is to drag you into politics. I know that you don't like it, but then you're a politician. I'd like to take one or two questions from you. Do you regret the removal of your very good brother, whom you started this race together, Philip Shaibu, from office?
It's not a question of regret. It's a question of experience. When, forces take over a normal situation, what do? You have to take drastic measures to address. Clearly, the party did. I don't know why, because it was obvious that he wasn't going to go anywhere with that. You're running the state, and there's a system in the state. But if he decided to go against the system, he had to deal with the consequences. So for me, it was, I didn't understand where the ambition was coming from because it was clear that the odds were not, in his favor in terms of succeeding me, and I made it very clear. So, I just couldn't take any risk on his ambition because, I have to protect the people of Edo State. But also what happened in Ondo. So I couldn't take that risk on Edo people.
Yeah, I have only just less than 30 seconds to wrap this up. And those who say that there are now drums of war being beaten within and without in your party, the PDP in Edo State, and you have sticked it out for Mr. Aswe Ighodalo. Are you for certain that this man can win it for your party in the governorship election? Was that an audacious move, and why did you do it? Just about 20 seconds so that we can close.
Well, you must understand, that Edo people know what they want. And we people who who understand that, you need the right leadership, an educated leadership, an experienced leadership, somebody who has a track record. And given what we have done in the last 8 years, people know that they are dying for continuity. They ask me that go and bring, and they say, what do you want to start? We continue from where I stopped.
Governor Obaseki, a win for the people of Edo State, and congratulations to the workers. And I must say also, thank you so much indeed for the move and the decision to better the lot of the workers in Edo State. Thank you so much indeed, Governor Obaseki, for this interview tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.